Now, get ready to pay for more for water and electricity from 1st September. The Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission adjusts electricity up by 27.15% and water by 21.55%. The Electricity Company of Ghana was demanding a 148% increase in tariff. A proposal from the power distributor submitted to the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, wanted the adjustment to cover the period 2019 and 2022. Ghana Water Company Limited was also demanding a 334% increase in tariff. The GWCL, in its proposal, said over the years, the approved tariffs have not been fully cost-reflective. The Executive Secretary of the PRC, Dr. Ishmael Akka, who announced the new tariff Monday morning, cited high cost and production costs and the Ghana exchange rate as the reason for the tariff adjustment.
Let me also add that the lifeline has been reduced. First, it was 0 to 50 kilowatt per hour. It's now 0 to 30. When you take the lifeline, they were paying 32.60 pesos. They are going to pay 41.90 pesos. Lifeline per kilowatt hour. Then we have, when you take the lifeline out, we have other residential, those who consume, let's say, more than 30. The first bracket, they are 0 to 300. They were paying 65. They are now going to pay 89 pesos. Now compare that, come to industry, the non-residential, the chobas, the hairdressers. And they were paying 79 pesos. They are now going to pay 83. Now you see that the 0 to 300 under the residential, they are paying 89 now. The 0 to 300 under the non-residential, the hairdressers, they are paying 83 now. So you see the difference. Again, when you take those who are in 301 to 600, under residential, those who have, let's say, 4 air conditions, yes, they were paying 84 pesos per kilowatt hour. Now they are going to pay 115. Now, the same group in industry, those who are using it, let's say some financial institutions, they are going to pay something lower than that. So that is what we've done. So when you compare the residential, the figures there, you have the statement, right? The figures there, you see that when you look at the other side, under non-residential, they should be relatively lower than those in the residential. So that is what we meant by, for the first time. In the past, the reason why we emphasized on that was that in the past, there was this what we call cross-subsidy. So the non-residential industry, they were paying more to subsidize for residential sector. That made their cost of power very expensive and very uncompetitive. So we heard that some companies are even relocating to other countries because of the cost of power. Others are also not recruiting because they are spending so much on electricity. So that is what PURC is trying to resolve. So that, yes, so that is the first question. Your second one was on? Yes, so the quarterly review, we are going to look at the exchange rate, we are going to look at inflation, and depending on how the changes, the tariff will be affected. It can go up, it can come down, it can remain the same, depending on the changes in these variables.
Now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor says it has so far not been able to secure any convictions or acquittals in respect of cases it is handling. It has, however, been able to recover 1 million cedis to the state. This is contained in a half-year report published by the Office of the Special Prosecutor in accordance with the law. Section 3 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, mandates the office to release a list of cases it is investigating or prosecuting My colleague Joseph Akable has a highlight of the half-year report of the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
The conclusion that it indicates is the fact that so far the office has not been able to make any convictions by way of matters that it has investigated and taken to court. And so it first narrows down a bit on specific matters that it has investigated. And one of the issues that it points out has to do with the La Bianca scandal, which has been in the news in the last couple of weeks. The office indicates that it's one of its achievements by way of the first recovery by the office in the sum of 1 million cedis, 74,627 cedis. That is what it's been able to retrieve as a result of that investigation into the advance ruling or a waiver that was granted by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to a businesswoman who we know is a member of the Council of State who owns the La Bianca company. And so that is the first one on that particular matter. The office now provides some details on other matters that it investigated and decided not to continue with the investigation. One of such cases involves a member of parliament, Samuel Atachian. The office indicates that sometime in July 2022, it terminated the investigations into a complaint of alleged financial malfeasance filed against the member of parliament with Waka South for lack of evidence. The complainant admitted that he filed a complaint without any basis and that he was paid to fabricate the content of the complaint against the member of parliament. And so that is a matter that has terminated. It also talks about Agri Plus Horizon Farms Limited. We are told that the Financial Intelligence Center informed the special prosecutor that the Ghana Cocoa Board saw the contract to Agri Plus Horizon Limited on a ground of nepotism and or trade-based money laundering. The OSP says it terminated the investigation for lack of evidence as well. There are some other matters that have seen a bit of prosecution, and some too at the level of ongoing investigation. And one such matter is the issue of the Airbus SE. You remember the Airbus scandal where Airbus, the international aerospace company, admitted to paying bribes to certain officials. Ghana was one of the countries named in there. We know that former special prosecutor Martin Amidu was investigating former President John Dramani Mahama and his brother Samuel Mahama, who he actually issued an Interpol red alert for his arrest. The special prosecutor says he's still investigating the matter and that the office is engaged with Interpol and the central authorities of the United Kingdom and United States under the mutual legal assistance regime. So that is another matter that has been updated. We've received an update from the special prosecutor. On the banking and financial sector crisis, the OSP says it is still carrying out investigation into that particular matter. Then another case that he also touches on is recruitment of officers into the Ghana Police Academy. The Office of Special Prosecutor announced that investigation in March 2022, targeting specific cases of alleged corruption and corruption-related offenses of the use of office for profit, abuse of office, and abuse of power. We are told that investigation is also ongoing. We know the one about the estate of Kojo Usu alias Sir John. We know that his assets were frozen by the special prosecutor. The prosecutor went over to the High Court with the intention of confirming that freezing order. We know that the court did not grant that, and the special prosecutor has since filed a notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal seeking to challenge that particular decision. And so that is also provided in this particular report.
Now, it is the voting powerhouse of the ruling New Patriotic Party, amassing over 80,000 votes in the last presidential elections. But Mampontein, capital of Efija Kwabre municipality, has no single kilometer of tarred road after detaching itself from the Sechere district 35 years ago. Weekly maintenance at the fitting shop is taking a chunk of drivers' daily sales, and food vendors are also reeling from the impact of the deplorable roads. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku spoke with some residents and has come through with this report.
After yielding to a sweltering afternoon as they go about their daily activities at the town centre, residents of Dumanafo are saddled by the deplorable road links in the community. From one dangerous way to dodging a beckoning pothole, motor users have to carefully navigate the kilometre stretch of untarred road. It's an onerous task for commercial transport drivers at Mampontein taxi rank, one consuming much of their already diminutive fuel volumes.
Every bumper, every move, you have to use only first gear and second gear. you cannot work faster on the road, and therefore to go and come and get the next income, you cannot. So always you have to take so many minutes on the way before you come back. And if there are people you should have picked on the road or at the station, you might have lost them. Coupled with the effect of high price of fuel, it is very, very bad.
So here, baby, I couldn't the over Korea side,
Every road within the district is very bad. We really struggle using the road. We have to drive using first or second gear, and that is consuming much of our fuel.
Now, second first, and you top patron go kind of Masia and Patronasa. See a crown so yedia, and come say, and Gababoyama patron, the Betobiano, Ebetima boy.
Not only are they reeling from the exorbitant fuel price, but a weekly maintenance and servicing of their vehicles is scraping a chunk of their sales.
Every week, beer, maintenance. Every week, beer, auto absorber, auto shaft. We
are always going to the mechanic every week for maintenance and always buying spare parts. It's as if we are not part of Ghana. The roads are bad when it rains.
And I say, I can't you know.
Do to Yakana Enyanti. They say, come as in 100 cities, Chama, and Toshi or Mazi. 100 cities will not correct Toma or Mazi.
100 Ghana cedis can't even buy anything at Swami magazine. Everything is expensive now.
To desire the petrol. Yanashi and coffee and Tajumana and the end to be dear. And I may just sank a jai with Sabano Moya.
The road, stretching from Dumanafo, links the Mampontin township to the renowned Bonre Kente town and the warriors' land of Ejuso. The once-tarred road, ridiculed by potholes, was graded for new road construction, but residents say its current state is worse off than before. Food vendors are not only battling to rid their dishes of flies, but dust too. Salima Fuseni sells a variety of local cuisines on the stretch.
It's worse when it's Hamatan. The dust is really affecting us. We have to always cover our food with nets, and that turns brown within some minutes. We always have to help the school children cross the road when it rains. The government should come to our aid.
In 2019, President Akufo-Addo cut sword for the commencement of a 5.5-kilometer town roads project for Mamponting, but the project has since been abandoned by the contractors following the delights that greeted the ceremony. The local traditional council is unhappy that the people's highest percentage of votes for the ruling NPP could not earn them access to good roads. Berima Sase Ayeboafo II is the chief of Mamponting.
Mamponting is the only municipal capital in the country without a single kilometer of tarred road. Since it was carved out of the Seche district 35 years ago, we are greatly disappointed, and it is important to communicate the fact that a sword-cutting event in October 2019 by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for the commencement of a 5.5-kilometer town roads project for Mamponting was immediately abandoned by the contractor after the fanfare and excitement that greeted that ceremony. The sad part of this short-lived project is that the uncovered dugout trenches left abandoned by the contractor has been posing danger to the town folks, claiming victims, especially women and children. There are numerous victims, some with serious impairment, currently at the hospitals, with a lady victim at the theatre and emergency unit of the Komfanoche Theatre, we certainly cannot be enthused with this development.
As faded as the colours on this huge billboard of the incumbent Member of Parliament for the area and the President, so is the heart of the many electorates gradually losing their love for the ruling New Patriotic Party. For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
Now, this afternoon, the minority on the Health Committee are calling on government to immediately withdraw an alleged directive to colleges of health which seeks to reserve 30% of admission spots for government to fill. According to the ranking member on the committee, Kwabena Minta Kando, government has directed the schools to not also admit more than 50% of its capacity and says this is due to government's inability to pay allowance as well as plans to populate the schools with unqualified protocol students. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me live through Zoom with more. Kweku, what more can you tell us on this?
So, Brace, according to the minority, government is seeking to fill up these spots with protocol students, but also because government is unable to pay the promised nursing trainee allowances, and so it's forcing these nursing trainee colleges to admit not more than 50% of its capacity. They say this will cripple the public nursing trainees colleges, and it will not make them attractive. We know that government since 2017 has also been rolling out the free senior high school. The minority has been questioning why you roll out the free senior high school, which will lead to an increased enrollment and more students coming out and seeking spaces in tertiary institutions, and placing a cap on how much or how, in terms of the number of students these colleges of health can admit. They say this is counterintuitive and it will not augur well for colleges of health and the kind of institutions that they've built over the years. They are calling on government to withdraw this directive immediately so that the colleges can admit to full capacity and also admit qualified students and not students that government tell them that admit this student or admit that student. They say it is improper for government to seek to admit certain number of students as they are seeking with this directive to the colleges of health. And they say it should be the colleges themselves, given the rigorous nature of the admission institutions that they've provided, to be able to undertake this admission. So, according to Kwabena Minta Kando, they are giving government the next few weeks to withdraw this directive, or they will be enrolling a series of action to ensure that government complies.
That's my colleague Kweku Asante, who is our parliamentary correspondent there. Now, a two-day continuous heavy rainfall in the northern region has caused harm to some communities in the Kumbungu district of the northern region. One of such communities which got flooded after heavy rains is the Silimboma community. People's houses and properties have been lost to the flooding. Over 16 houses have been destroyed, with 6 completely collapsed. JoyNews' northern region correspondent Martina Bogri has the details.
A visually impaired woman, Mohammed Zainab, has lost all her belongings, including the 150 Ghana cedis she had struggled to save to pay for her daughter's fees. In a confused state, she tries to gather her thoughts to make sense. She says she's lost everything, including where to sleep and what to eat.
I don't know where to stay. The rain has destroyed everything. My daughter is a student and I raised 150 Ghana cedi. The water carried it away. She was supposed to have left for school tomorrow, but I can't raise that money again. We are appealing for help. We do not even have food to eat and no shelter.
A pregnant woman, Alhassan Salamatu, said she lost everything and items she had gathered for her marriage ceremony. According to her, her husband was interested in helping rescue them instead of the items, and somebody picked the bag and emptied it.
When the flood occurred, my husband's focus was to rescue myself in the case. So he was able to carry us on his neck through the raging water to safety. As for our animals, the water carried it away. The bag containing my clothes, someone stole it. And even the clothes I'm wearing, it had been given to me by a kind person.
Given the extent of the disaster, the Member of Parliament for the Kumbungu constituency, Dr. Hamza Adams, has been touring some communities in the constituency. He attributed the floods to the construction of the Tolong-Belong Road. Dr. Hamza said government must resource the National Disaster Management Organization to be able to reach out to people in distress.
We have been told that the flooding has occurred as a result of the construction of the Kumbungu-Belong Road. During the construction, the contractor did not make enough drain. He did not create enough drains for water to pass through. So as a result of that, the water has been blocked, resulting in the flooding of the entire community. I want to believe that if actions or steps are not taken to attend to this, the resulting consequences will be very sad to talk about. So I want to appeal to highways. Highways must immediately call the contractor back aside. And I think one thing I said, and I want to stress, is that NADMO is not giving the needed resources. So government must take steps to provide resources to NADMO so that once they have the capacity to provide, I'm sure they will not have any excuse to drag their feet when the situation arises.
Now, authorities at the Wa Central Prison have bemoaned the inadequate medicine at the infirmary and training equipment for the inmates. The inadequacy of medicine has resulted in prison authorities unable to curb the outbreak of skin rashes at the prison. This came to light when the Narcotics Control Commission donated some drugs to the Wa Central Prison to help in the treatment of inmates who are falling sick in serving their prison term. JoyNews' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Among the myriad of challenges faced by the Wa Central Prison is the inadequate training equipment for the inmates. Here at the workshop of the inmates, there are 4 sewing machines, but only one is provided for and owned by the prison service. The rest of the 3 are for the master trainers. Inmates who wish to train as a tailor either has to bring his or her own sewing machine, or you queue and wait patiently for your turn in order to have access to one. Assistant Superintendent of Prison, ASP Joseph Pereko, is the public relations officer of the Wa Central Prison.
We are supposed to also rehabilitate them, say that when they come out of prison, they become economically relevant in society. But unfortunately, we do not have the capacity to train them, to give them that kind of employable skills. So on this note, we are also appealing to the general public, individual, civil society organizations, to also assist us in that regard by making donation in a form of training materials, so that we should be able to train these inmates, so that when they come out, like I indicated earlier, they will become economically relevant in society, and it will go a long way to reduce the burden of crime in society.
Another area of concern for prison authorities is the lack of drugs at the infirmary. Our camera spotted few drugs kept at the table for treatment of the over 190 inmates.
The infirmary is not well equipped, so mostly we deal with minor cases. When there is a case and it's beyond the capacity of the infirmary, the case is referred to the appropriate health facility for further medical attention, either at the regional hospital or the municipal hospital. But mostly it takes care of basic illnesses. Yes.
No wonder authorities are finding it difficult to contain the spread of the skin rashes, which is on the rise.
Skin infections in the yard, and it is affecting them. Looking at their sleeping places, their cells are congested, and when one is affected, it easily spreads through, and others also get infected. So it is a worrying situation, it's a worrying development, and it is affecting other inmates in the yard.
Prison authorities therefore welcome the donation of drugs by the Narcotics Control Commission to inmates to cure the skin rashes that they have been battling with. Isaac Bakuri is the Upper Regional Director of the Narcotics Control Commission.
When we went to the infirmary the other time, we realized that they do not have enough stock of drugs to provide healthcare for the inmates. This is the second bag that we are donating. And we want to assure you that as and when we are able to mobilize enough drugs, we make them available. And we also understand that there are some other challenges that for us, we are working on all those ones, and that when we are able to mobilize enough resources, we bring them to you.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
You're also watching JoyNews today here on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. Up next is business. Stay with us.
Hello, good afternoon. It's time to do business. My name is Beverly Broom. The Soil Research Institute of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research is renewing efforts to make Ghana self-sufficient in production of improved local rice over the past few years. The Research Institute, in its quest to address Ghana's food insecurity, have introduced scientific soil management technologies to increase local rice yields.
Oxford Business Group reports consumption of rice in Ghana outstrips domestic production, with 66% of rice consumed being imported. Although the local production of rice has increased over the last decade, Ghana imports more than $500 million rice annually, making it an insecure food commodity. Speaking at its inaugural ceremony, Director of the Soil Research Institute, Dr. Edward Yeboah, explained some challenges confronting local production of rice.
The challenge has been having the seed of rice that would actually be used to improve the yield. Again, the soil management practices that needs to go along with the seed. And that is what we've made huge progress with respect to coming out with site-specific fertilizer recommendation for rice and management technologies that are there to improve the rice yields.
The National Rice Development Strategy implemented under ex-President Kojo aimed at reversing the country's import dependence, but the initiative has since not realized its goals. The Soil Research Institute of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research is consolidating efforts to expedite processes in making Ghana self-sufficient in rice production in the next 5 years.
We are building on the structures that have been put in place. We are currently looking at research and development as a 5-year development plan, how we will be able to build the capacity of scientists in terms of high-impact journals that they will write to, ability to attract funding, and be able to compete at the international level.
Dr. Edward Yeboah is also calling on the government to institute measures to facilitate technological advancements in the rice production chain.
Nigeria has been able to wean themselves from rice importation. Now they have sufficiency in rice production. And Ghana, we are able to do that. So now all that we need is to have the commitment and the enabling environment from government to ensure that the needed seed supply is in place. Quality seeds for the rice cultivation is in place. And then the fertilizer availability, water management strategies are all in place to ensure that we are able to wean ourselves from rice importation.
For Joy Business, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
Now, the sustainability of the government's free senior high school policy will need concerted support from parent-teacher associations in schools. The PTA of Anglo Gold Ashanti School in Obuasi is hopeful such support will help reduce the financial burden on the government to maintain the flagship educational program. There's more in the following report.
The Parent-Teacher Association of Anglo Gold Ashanti School has handed over a preschool play center project and a mechanized borehole to create a secure and conducive environment for pupils of AGA School. Financial Secretary of the PTA, Daniel Asari, urged to help reduce the free senior high school expenditure burden on the government. He believes parents' contributions will enhance quality education.
Government is doing very well with the implementation. But I believe that parents have a role to play. We can say, yes, we know government is doing well. Yes, we know the implementation is nice. Yes, we know the idea is good. But as parents, we want to contribute to ensure that it is well implemented and sustained. And that is one of the things that the AGA school did. I believe every Ghanaian now, if we all want to come together and say, yes, we want to support the government in its implementation of free HSS, by contributing our quota to it, Ghana education will be one of the best in Africa and the world as large.
Mr. Asari reiterated the association's commitment to support the growth of Anglo Gold Ashanti School.
We are not only looking at the exam, we are getting the results that we want with our contribution to the school. But that is not the only thing. The holistic education that our kids are getting from this school is what is motivating us.
Anita Sewajuga's report, read to you.
That's all for business now. We have more business coming up on Marketplace at 1 p.m. Up next is sports.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, a lot has happened in the world of entertainment at the weekend, from legendary musician A.B. Quincel's one-week celebration to everything you need to know about Shatta Wale and Wiala's Summer Stage Festival performances. Here's what you've missed.
It's a start of a new week, but let's talk about all the major events that took place at the weekend. Let's begin on a sad note as family, friends, industry players and sympathizers gathered at the Bethel Methodist Church in Tema Community 8 to observe the one-week celebration of the late legendary highlife musician A.B. Quincel. Now, let's go all the way to France because Stonebwoy is raising high the flag of Ghana. The award-winning musician thrilled music lovers across the world at the No Logo Festival. Back in the United States, taking you to the camp of Afro-pop singer Wiala and dancehall artist Shatta Wale. So they were on the summer stage. Now, despite the controversy surrounding a citation presentation to both artists,
we just felt so disrespected. Bronze people, the people that brought the award to award myself and Shatta Wale on the stage, that was not nice. That was not nice at all.
They both gave patrons an unforgettable experience. Meanwhile, Shatta Wale has finally announced the release date of his much-anticipated album. The date, October 17th. Let's end with a 10-year celebration of love. Politician Sam George and his wife celebrated their wedding anniversary. Guess who performed? Sam Mini. And there was an introduction of a new kid on the block. Well, your guess is as good as mine. Congratulations to the couple. Congratulations to you, Sam George, and that's how we end showbiz here on Joy News today. I realize that you're enjoying yourself. Do you want to sing that song back again?
You know, I don't have a good voice. I would have, because that song, yeah?
But my own, I mean, Sam George is singing the song, so you can equally sing it.
He has a good voice, not mine. Mine is quite some way. I can talk, but singing is some way.
Please talk us out of the Joy News today.
Charlie, you see, Metro alphabet in the bio.
Okay. Joy News logo, a faso.
Okay. But me baby ni brownie,
golden tree chocolate, yeah. Mintio. Mintio. Hey, my Joy News. That'll be all for Joy News today. That's how we end the Joy News today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the entertainment news. Yeah. Well, you qualify.
Coming up next is Marketplace. So my name is Samuel Kojo. Brace. Go enjoy the rest of your afternoon.